top of this particular drive, and one of the suspicions I had was that the laser was probably okay, but there could be some sort of break or crack in the assembly itself. But I wouldn't recommend taking the assembly off until you've actually went ahead and gave the machine a clean the likes of the grip, which I'll show you now in a minute, and put a bit of lubrication maybe on the bar. Just have a quick inspection of the actual physical drive itself, and we do it up a bit. Now this particular drive has a face on it that's a little bit bashed up, so what we probably do as well is just for the crack of it, we'll just take the face off this one, replace with another face that we have. I think that one's actually clean and good to go, so we'll put that face on instead of this one, and we'll just see how we get on and see if it'll play back a disc quicker, because when you put a disc into the machine, it should read and start the disc up within a couple of seconds, sort of anywhere up to about 5 seconds. Anywhere after that, if it's starting to take like 10, 20, 15 seconds, there's a problem with the laser probably, or it could be a problem elsewhere. It looks like there's any dirt on that or not. Might not be, you know, might be worth cleaning it too, but yeah, more the likes of the grip ring we want to clean, because if the disc is slipping or sliding, that can also cause a problem with the disc being read properly on the device. So we'll do a bit of that first, see where we are. First of all, we'll get some screwdrivers and disassemble it. Okay, so here we are inside the machine. I've just taken the top clamp off. It's 4 screws, 2 here, 2 at the rear. I have the drive already ejected, so it's just the 2 little clips we pressed in and pulled it out. We've shown that in previous videos. If you want to see that, watch my other videos. So what we're going to look at here and what we're going to do is we're going to basically clean this grip ring and lubricate and clean this little bar here. We'll take the laser assembly out carefully and have a look and see if we've seen any breakages on it, but I'll clean this bar. We put a bit of lubrication back onto that bar, reassemble it back in the drive. Now people, you know, as I just said in the first part of the video, have actually asked about single-sided drives versus the dual-side. The beauty of the single-sided drives is you can get the laser assembly out nice and easy, and you don't have to go clipping it back in. So with the other ones, you want to notice sort of a little crunch or a pop when you put the laser assembly back in. This one is very easy to get in and out, as you can see. Very easy. Actually, there's a big lump of oh, got it out there now. There's a big lump of grease there, see that? But it's actually up there rather than anywhere else on the bar. So this bar is actually fairly dry. All the grease is actually up here, nowhere else. So anyway, we're going to clean that grease off if anything's left. A bit of black on that. There you are there. The white cloth, bit of black on that, nothing major. So we clean the bar first. Get a bit more black on that. So that's all we're doing. I was going to clean the old bit of steel there. Hey look, here's a few I made earlier. So these are the same bars, is it? There's another one there, look. The amount of these poor old drives are taken apart. I actually discovered I have 6 of these base plates available with spins that are working. 6. Now that's what you call a graveyard. The most common failure on these is the M holder. So the M holder fails on most laser drives anyway, but in these particular drives what's happened is the M holder has failed, it's cracked, sheared off and took the motor with it, which, if you bear me for 1 second, sorry, I have a bag here from the other one, from the last days, you might remember. So there you are there, you see. The problem with that is some of them will sort of break here and the motor will be dangling, and we can put that back on with a new M holder. But when it shears off like this, this causes major problems. I did get one working before, as you might remember, but it was still causing a little bit of interference, so it was sort of a 50-50 whether it worked or not. But yeah, if it shears off, you're pretty knackered. So there's grease along here as well, because this little clip here goes underneath. So there's 2 types of clips, and again, I'm just going to show you the 2 types. Hold on. Okay, so the 2 types of clips. This is your dual-sided clip, and this one here is your single-sided clip. So that's a single-sided clip. Okay, and this is your dual-sided clip. Now these can be interchanged. You can actually take the clip from this one and put it onto this one and vice versa. They will actually fit in each other. Okay, so we're back to this baby again. So tell you what we'll do. Just put that up there. So you can have a bit more light there. How about that? Way! I don't know where we can move these above lights a bit. Should be enough light there to see everything. That's alright now. So what I'll do next is I will just take the clip off the back of this. So if you haven't seen this before, just basically push it up gently. Just push it up gently. to get it back on, you're going to need to open that black clip out, which I can't seem to do at the minute. The camera's sensing a face over here. Don't know what it sees, but apparently it sees a face. It's probably like the Turin shroud or something. So let me see if I move that. Yep, it's moving the cog. Okay, so we'll put a bit of grease in that in a minute. Okay, don't clean your laser unless you have to. If this disc runs fine, don't go cleaning it. If you do clean it, I generally use. I was using I was using the alcohol at one stage, but I found that on the 1950 it ended up rubbing the coating off the lens, which was a blue colour. And that wasn't the first one that happened. It happened to me with a Hitachi DVD drive as well, where the DVD drive cost quite a bit of money, and I cleaned the laser on it and I managed to rub off this magic blue paint, and I never read a disc again. So that's something to watch out for. So I tend to use the water for the distilled water that's used in the likes of car batteries. So I cleaned it with that. So I'm just going to get some cleaner. Okay, so there's the cloth. Okay, so it's clean enough for the minute. So I'm just going to clean this little M holder here. Whoops. Let's see if we get any dirt off of that. Should do. This little, so it's not the M, this is the grip ring. Yeah, clean the grip ring, because if there's any slippage, the disc won't play properly either. You'll have problems with it. So I'm just going to clean that. So that's it. There's the dirt that was on that. Quite a bit. You see now it's nice and clean. I actually have one of these here. There's a video I did a while back where I changed the spindle motor, and the reason why I did that is I had one of these which was very lucky, insofar as I wasn't actually running a disc in the drive. I basically received it with the dodgy cables you might remember and all that. But anyway, what happened was I tried to get the spindle motor going, and it decided to do a harry-carry. It was dead, it was dying. So it just basically went, that was about it. So the motor was dead and broken, as you might remember from the video, but it also disintegrated. So luckily enough I hadn't put a disc into it, because if I had have, there's a good chance it would have disintegrated, would have been flying, and would have basically sent laser disc shards all throughout the workshop and into my boat race. So that wouldn't have been good, you know. Yeah, so it probably would have shattered and sent shards all around the workshop and eliminated my boat race, or face. That wouldn't have been good. But yeah, so what we're going to do next now is we're actually going to go and clean. We've already cleaned it. We're going to go and we are going to actually hold on. We didn't use any cleaner on that, did we? Very fancy. Let me see. Where's that bit of wet there? Look at that. Just give it a wipe there, just to see anything else of it. No, a little bit of grey, nothing major. That's clean. Okay, so we're going to put the assembly, needs to be greased up. So we're going to grease that up. Show you how we'll do that. So if 1 second. Okay, so I'm just going to cover the lens with a bit of cloth here, because this stuff tends to want to go everywhere. So actually, I think we'll do that. And then we do a bit of that. So we're just trying to get a bit of grease in there. This is nice and thin, this stuff. So that should be more than enough. Just wipe off the I hope that happens. Just wipe off the excess, so I don't need gallons in there. A little dab will do you. So that's enough in there. It should be enough. You gotta be careful with some of these contact greases as well, because they can be not designed for electronics. So watch out for that. Now I generally use that this one with on the metal to metal contacts, the WD version. So I generally use it on the bar only, and the underneath of the leg, because this is metal to metal. So it works on that very well. When I'm doing the cogs or the gears, I don't tend to use that. I use lithium grease that's better suited to plastics. Some lithium grease will actually dissolve your plastics. Ooh. So I don't generally use it in there. Some of the videos you've seen me using it, but it's just been convenient, you know. I didn't really care, you know. But if you use it on a more high expensive machine, this one here, which is designed for metal to metal, is probably not the ideal one. I have another tube there, and if you're basically looking for it, you're looking for one that's designed for putting together with plastic gears. So I'll just grab it and just show it to you. Hold on. Again, it contains pretty similar stuff to the other one, so I don't know why there's any difference, but yeah, there's petroleum in this one too, but this one was designed for electronics, electronic grades it says there, but strangely enough, this also has some of the similar pieces that you're not supposed to have in this stuff. So anyway, yeah, what's the, where is he, see here it says petroleum, hydrogenated light, see? So petroleum. So some of the petrol stuff can cause problems with plastics. I it hasn't given me any trouble with it yet, but it's worth noting that it can give trouble on some devices with the grease. So just be careful of that. I've used the other stuff to better effect, but especially when I'm trying to get into a tight spot, I've used it. I'm going to use a bit of this on here. Because why not? I have it in my hand now. So I don't really like using my finger with this stuff, but we will, and then we wipe it quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically try and cover it with it. That's very sticky, I think. I don't think that's as good as the other stuff, really. I think that's a bit thick, to be honest with you. I don't think that's very light at all. So, put another bit on it there. So I'm just using my finger here to do it, but yeah, just need a little bit on it. So, just trying to smear it with it. It'll all end up at the end anyway, but just a little bit on it. Just give it a good coat, minimal coating. So next thing we want to do is we jumped the ship there, didn't we? I'll put that in there. So. I still prefer the other stuff. That's very sticky, man. That's a little bit too heavy, if you ask me. Yeah, that's a bit too. I think that's too. It's too resistive. We're gonna use the. I'm gonna actually put a drop of. I'm gonna clean this out again. I'm gonna use the other stuff instead and see if it's any better. I'm just gonna clean this off with this because I think that's a bit heavy. It's probably okay on the gears in here, but on that bar now it's a bit heavy. So I'm not happy with that at all. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to use the back of the laser here instead. See here? Do it here. Hold it up. That should be more than enough. So put that over there. Grab our bar back. So with the bar in there, nice and gentle. I'm going to basically twirl it. That is running a lot better with that. So yeah, that's a lot smoother. That has no resistance there at all. That's lovely. So yeah, I recommend using the WD stuff for the bar, definitely. That's a lot better. That's gonna slide out. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. That's gonna be a little bit. I'm not saying it. I can't say it. Dirty minds. So basically, I will put the clip back in there. Press it back in. Okay, make sure it's in place nice and tight. I think it is. Now that clip that's here, you want to make sure that gets back under this. So back under it goes. And then we're going to match in the front. It's there. Match in the back. Front is in. Back is giving me trouble because there we are. Now we're gently move it. It's okay. It's stuck. So what I'll do now is I get the screw and I'll lock in that back bit. So the screw for the back is this fella here with a flat sort of looks like an integrated washer on it. So that's what keeps that down at the back. So we'll do that there now. What you can do is, if you're putting this back together, is actually put the laser assembly all the way up here. That way when it turns on it's going to run the all the way down the drive, isn't it? So that'll be more helpful for moving that lubricant around. So I'll put this back on now. So when you're putting these back on, make sure you put them on properly and tight. because the last thing you need is a laser disc coming flying at you. Thankfully it hasn't happened yet, but there's always the first, but I don't want this to be the first. Never wanted to be the first. Okay, so like I said, I think that the WD stuff, you're supposed to use the right grease for it. Some greases, some lithium greases will chew through plastic, but the plastic in here doesn't seem to be... I've used it on a few of these drives and I've never had any problem with it yet, but I generally use the thicker grease for the cogs in here, but I've ended up actually on some drives I've ended up using this other stuff anyway, because especially one that had the turn mechanism wasn't working. Some guys asked me about it on the 2950, and I basically suggested using this stuff because it's much easier to get into that gap. And if you've got the older grease on there, it tends to, you know, either clean it up as if it were, or you know, it just basically gets in. It's more penetrating. But like the WD-40, the normal stuff, seems to penetrate more. Next week on I am not selling this product. I'm not endorsed for this product, by the way. I just found it to be pretty good. Okay, so the drive drawer on this one is fairly straightforward. Some of them have little screws on them to stop the drawers flying out, but because this is the basic model and it's cheap and cheerful, they don't really care if your disc comes flying out or your drive drawer comes flying out. They're like, who cares, you know? They didn't go and buy the more expensive model, they went and bought the cheap one. But yeah, there's actually two little holes here, I think, designed for the screws, but they actually fit. These are similar. Probably would, yeah. But yeah, seems a bit. That's whoa! Ouch! 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 That's a bit off square. I said this before. Make sure you have it on square, because if you don't, that looks better now. That's better. Nice and gentle. Okay, we'll plug it back in and we'll see what happens. And now we'll turn it on. Okay, so what we do now is we'll stick a disc in and see if it reads it quickly or whether it takes 12 years. Here we go. Okay, up to speed and 0 track. There we are, and we're playing back straight away. So the problem with this drive was dirt and lack of grease, but that's what I was saying about the bar.
I'd like to do today is
not to stop that.
Your version.
The bar, basically, because it was dirty, that was having trouble tracking along it. So it was like, instead of going like this along the track, it was probably going like this. So trying to get the exact place on it, it was, you know, being resisted by the lithium grease that was on it. So by cleaning the bar and putting fresh lithium grease on, we solved our problem. So one of the best ways to prevent damage to the M holder, especially on these older machines, is to take the M holder out of there, take the bar away and clean those bars. So clean the tracking bar from the bottom of the drive up to the top. So on the dual sided players, there's a tracking bar around about here on the top of the drive. So just basically clean that and put a good bit of grease on your laser assembly. It'll come around, it'll automatically bring grease with it up onto the top bar. If that doesn't work out for you very well, what you can also do is basically get the disc to read on side B if it's letting you do that, and then spraying a bit from the top. But again, be very careful with spraying it in, you don't hit the top of your disc or something daft like that, you know. So there's a few ways to do it, but probably the easiest thing to do would be to actually manually, which I did, I basically put some lithium grease on, I put a glove on instead of, you know, having that sinking into my hands, and basically put a dab in my finger, sheen was off, and then rubbed a bit on the upper bar on the turnover mechanism. So that solved the problem. So the next thing we'll do is we're going to have a look at this face here, and we'll probably take this face off and put a brand new shiny one on it. When I say brand new and shiny, we'll basically nick it off the other one. So unless I have one out, I don't know whether I do or not, but we'll see. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is the one on at the moment, so it's missing the badge. It's a little bit beat up. So what we'll do is we'll change it for the other cover, and we'll look, that other cover is slightly in better shape, but we'll soon find out. Anyway, I'll show you how to take the cover off. This is the bit you really need to know. Very straightforward, but we'll do it now. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take the disc out. otherwise we'd have big trouble. Not laughing at that one, no, that was a good one. Give me that one, that was funny. Okay, so you have to take the drive drawer out. Well, go and do it then. I'm putting the disc away here. You do it while I'm waiting here, go on. Come on. Come on, come on. Okay, so take the drive drawer out, clip, clip, and then turn off that power. So I'll do that now, turn off the power, you hear the click. Pop, power is off. So getting this front fascia off is quite straightforward. There are 2 screws, one here. That's a similar type of screw to what holds down that laser bar. See, so there's an integrated washer. There's probably a name for that. Yeah, integrated washer. And there's one over here. Okay, so once they're out, it's a matter of, this basically is a clip here, so you're just popping it up. One here, popping it up. One here, popping it up, and one here, popping it up. So it's very hard to do this when you're looking at a camera at the same time. So once that's done, there are the cable which is plugged in here at the front, so lift, you sort of, if I do that, lift that out of the way, pull that up, and then you got one screw down here on this black cable. So I'm going to take that out of there now. That's a little grounding cable, I presume. So that's that out of the way. And then put that to one side. So we get our other cover, which I think is in good nick. No, big lump just fell out. Oh, look at this badge just hanging out. This one. Probably a little bit better nick. God knows. We'll see though. See if the screen looks a bit better. Some of the screens are very dull, and I know somebody said to me before with the power supply, but I have had that before where it seems to be a problem with this rather than the actual power supply over yonder, because the picture would still be dull even if I changed the power supply to a known good one, as it were. One of them actually was supposed to be green, and it was like a weird orangey colour. I was like, wow, this is bespoke. Then I kind of realised, hold on, I bought it from France. I was like, yeah, you bought it from France, yeah. Well, smokers. No offence to the French people, but I remember an awful lot of smoking going on back in the 90s in France. So I was saying to myself, maybe it was in a smoky environment during its life, and maybe that caused this discoloration. Actually looked quite nice though. It was actually a little bit gingery, orangey hue of it. Actually looked quite nice. So you have to put the bottom in first. When you put it back on, and you take the top off first when you're taking it. So it's just literally clip, 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 clip. Pull it down, out it comes, and back in as underneath first, and then lift it forward, clip, 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 clip. You can leave those screws off at the moment. They're not critical to the front staying on at this particular juncture. What we'll do is we'll put the drive drawer back in, and we'll just see what the display looks like on this one. I think this display is okay, so better look, it is, otherwise it's a wasted exercise. Okay, back together. Power's on. I don't know whether that's any better or any worse. Okay, so there's the display now. Nice.